Bette Midler has this great song, and in the song are these words, "And I'm all alone, there's no one here beside me, and my problems have all gone. There's no one to deride me. But you gotta have friends. The feeling's oh so strong. You gotta have friends to make that day last long. I had some friends, but they're gone. Something came and took them away. And from the dusk till the dawn, here is where I'll stay. And I'm standing at the end of a real long road, and I'm waiting for my new friends to come. I don't care if I'm hungry or freezing cold. I'm gonna get me some of them, 'cause you got to have friends." And I think that's a pretty universal sentiment. Friends are good. Having friends is helpful. Being a friend is good too. There are people in my life who have been my friends for 40 plus years, which, having recognized that fact, freaked me out. It's astounded me. Like, how did I get this old? But anyway, there are people who became my friends at different stages of my life. Some who stayed, some who went away, a whole bunch who've graduated from Earth School, and a whole bunch who are still around. And then there are more than 7 billion people on the planet that I haven't met yet. The potential for friendship is endless. And so that's the thing that inspired me about this talk. This idea of friendship and finding friends and the different kind of friends that we cultivate. Friends who heal us, friends who challenge us, friends who push us, friends who hold us. All these different kinds of friends. And of course, I'm watching movies and TV and I'm reading books and I'm hearing these connection stories from people who find each other and how they find each other and the many ways that people become friends on this journey. And maybe it's to move the journey along or to solve a problem or just figuring out how to live simply or to grow up no matter how old we are. And so I came across some common themes. These are not the only themes, but I came across some common themes, and I wanted to share this idea of these common themes of friendship and finding friends along the way. So I narrowed it down to 5 major categories of friends along the way. So you've got the "just leave me alone, I'm figuring this out, oh, look, we've become friends" stories. The "I'm really alone and I hope I find some support" stories. The "I've been thrown in with a group of crazy people" stories. The "we've got to survive this together" stories. And the "let's do it" stories. So, and this was mostly from watching movies and TV, and so I was pulling from all these things. And naturally, there's crossover on the themes. Sometimes the "let's do it" has crazy people, or the "I hope I find support" and you find crazy people. Mostly the crazy people theme kept coming up. It's like, well, that's a biggie. Number 3 is top. And I also discovered the crossover of buddy movies and road movies, because Friends Along the Way seems to be a movement story. You find friends along the way, not when you're planted. We'll look at it. But and clearly I need to do more research. So I'm going to be home watching some more movies and TV. I'll let you know what I find. So I had a lot of fun with this. I hope you have fun too. So, category 1. Just leave me alone, I'm figuring this out. Oh, look, we've become friends. The Way. If you have not seen this, please just see it. Martin Sheen's character starts out very much alone, very isolated. He's grieving, and he just wants to be left alone. Slightly cranky. And he's got this mission, which if you haven't seen it, I won't give it away, but he's got a mission. And he's very, very single-minded. And of course, as he's walking the Camino de Santiago, he stumbles across crazy people. See, it's the running theme. But he connects with these people and they won't leave him be. And what's neat is, he pushes them away and they come back. And then they push each other away and they become a tribe. They become a family, and in the real way, and with their baggage, literally and figuratively, and their stories, they are helping each other. And it was that unexpected tribe that happens. So I love that one. From the I'm really alone and I hope I find some support category, who else? Dorothy. Dorothy was definitely alone when her adventure began. She ran away from home, and then her house airlifted to another world. And so, she starts out kind of on her own there, and she's hopeful, though, that people will help her, tell me where I'm supposed to go. And aside from Glinda totally setting her up for danger by putting those shoes on her feet, it's like, wait, I don't know if you've ever looked at it critically, but that moment when the Wicked Witch realizes the shoes are on her feet and Dorothy realizes it, and she looks down and she looks back at Glinda like, hello? I just landed here and you've totally set me up. She's green, she's crazy, why do I have these shoes on? But then, of course, she sets off and the Munchkins are like, you can do it. And then she finds her friends along the way who support her. And the coolest part is the friends she finds along the way in Oz are actually her friends along the way at home. And so she gets to come home to those same people, that same love, those same big hearts. Okay, crazy people. I've been thrown in with a group of crazy people. I chose Dogma and the Matrix. Because sometimes we end up with a tribe or a group that's helping us, and we kind of wonder, are they actually helping us? What are they actually doing? And so in Dogma, this character of Bethany is told by the Metatron, Alan Rickman, thank you. How many weeks in a row can I get Alan Rickman in a talk? I think I'm making a record of getting him in there. But he tells her that she carries a great spiritual responsibility, and she must get to this church. She must find a couple of prophets, get to the church, and stop these two renegade angels from creating this loophole that's going to cause the end of the world. And the prophets that she's stuck with are Jay and Silent Bob. I don't know if you're familiar with Jay and Silent Bob. They're unique, and they're special. And so she ends up with them and this angel named Rufus, who apparently was a buddy of Jesus's. And so they're crazy. It's insanity. And yet she just kind of goes, okay, what am I doing next? And goes with them. And then, of course, in the Matrix, Neo is searching for something and seeking for something, and he gets called into this absolute craziness. And also they're trying to save the world. But by Neo agreeing to step into something that he completely does not really understand and then is figuring it out as he goes, he's being taught and stretched and pushed in ways that even he doesn't believe. I mean, imagine being told, you're the one. You are going to save everyone. I don't know many people that would kind of go, oh, cool, great. What's that pay? You just kind of go, oh, all right, it's not the spoon. There's no spoon. And so he trusts, and his name is gone. Yeah, but what's his name in the movie? Morpheus. God, Morpheus 100% believes. Which, if you watch the movie again critically, you're like, Morpheus is insane. He doesn't even know what he's talking about. But it's there, and it's so strong. And so like Bethany and Neo both have to kind of become innocent and just surrender into this group of crazy friends that they found. And once they surrender to it, they get unconditional support and belief and love from these people. And inevitably, this helps them save the world. So trust the crazy ones. From the we've got to stick together to survive category, I went with animals. I chose 2 animal stories for this category because with animal stories, there's a whole different kind of drama and stubbornness and triumph. These stories show us that sometimes the friends that we find along the way can be very different from us. And yet, even though we wouldn't normally hang out with them, and we might think that we don't have anything in common with them, we actually can find ways to save each other's lives, despite or in spite of those differences, and we can find our way home. And so sometimes when it comes to survival, we can't always choose our friends. sometimes they're chosen for us. And we need to trust, again, that it's all coming together. And we find a way to make it through. So, Homeward Bound, The Incredible Journey, there's little Michael J. Fox, and, and Charlotte's Web. That one's a stretch for me because you got to trust a spider. And I just don't know. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. In the animated version, the voice of the spider is Debbie Reynolds. So I could trust Debbie Reynolds. Yeah. And so what I got from these also is it's the power of love. The power of love brings us home. The power of love is what supports us. And so even from these unlikely friends, when we know that we've got to pull together to survive, it's the power of love that helps us do that. And then our last category, the let's do this category. My apologies in advance, but I went with testosterone. Westerns. The Magnificent Seven and Silverado. Yes, nothing says let's do this like an old Western. Now, these happen to be examples of male bonding. I get that. But what I love about them is, the stereotypical thing is that these men might not normally have gotten along. They actually might have killed each other. And they had the capability to do it. And yet, they're drawn together for a common good. So, let the warrior men's weekend male bonding commence. They find this reason to come together and to go up against insurmountable odds. So this showed me that when you find friends along the way, when you're hanging out with friends who have different skill sets or different perspectives or maybe come from diverse backgrounds, you can actually enhance your experience of life and you can get a lot accomplished. We used to joke on the old Mary Tyler Moore show, there was a running gag that she could never have a successful party. I don't know if any of you guys remember this, but it was like the running joke was, oh God, a party at Mary's. It's going to be a disaster. And for years, I lived that because I had so many friends from different backgrounds that they would all get into the same room and nobody would talk to each other. And it would just be like a Rachel party. It's good music. Yeah. Snacks. Oh, there's snacks, And so it's this idea of, these guys that might normally not work together, come together, and they make it happen. So one more category that I just threw in as a catch-all is the all of the above category. And for these, I chose Lost, Harry Potter, and Star Trek, the old and the new. But nothing in between, because I'm really just a purist. So, these stories hold qualities of all the categories of friends along the way. Some of the characters isolate themselves, and then reluctantly they reach out for support. And they're often surrounded by crazy or really strange personalities. And they need to make friends with these people in order to survive. And then, whether it's a 1-hour episode or a 3-hour epic movie, they go do it together and accomplish it. And so there were so many more to choose from, but I was able to do a sort of all category. Plus, I love that picture from Lost. It's just so pretty. And so, gazillion more. It was painful, kind of, to filter out them because movies are my friends along the way. And I was like, oh, sorry, gotta go. Oh, Star Wars didn't make the cut. So it was hard. It was hard. But it just goes to show how important this story of friendship really is. Yet another universal theme. When I was growing up, one of my favorite stories was the Bremen Town Musicians. It's an old, old story about a group of animals who had, according to their owners, outlived their usefulness. And they were all headed towards being dispatched. And they didn't want to be dispatched. So they each ran away from their respective homes and found each other along the way. And it was like, oh, you're being killed too? Oh, come on, join me. And oh, you're too old? Oh, come on, join me. And then they end up coming across a cabin, and they scare a bunch of robbers away. And they win, and so they can live peacefully together. And I just really loved that story. It just made me really happy to feel like sometimes, when we don't feel like we belong, there's other people who don't feel like they belong. And we'll all find each other. We all find each other. Yeah. In a really loving way. I mean, if we were all the same, we'd all be at Prevos. So yeah, we find connections with those that it's like, oh you, and it's really kind of cool, and it's unexpected, and we make these connections. It's Edgar Cayce talked about this. Edgar Cayce, who's mystic and teacher, wrote about the idea of soul groups. He didn't believe that we had just one soulmate. That it's like, if you don't find your soulmate, you're screwed. That's it. He believed in this idea of many soulmates and included soul groups. And that you could actually reconnect with a group of people that, maybe you built the pyramids together. Or, whatever, you were on the Mayflower together, whatever it was. And you reconnect, and it's that moment of, I know you from somewhere. Where do I know you from? And I love those moments. When I met my best friend Jimmy, we were doing a production of Jesus Christ Superstar, and we were in rehearsal, and he came walking in the room, and we both were like, huh. And we spent about 30 minutes playing, Cleveland geography. Well, where'd you go to school? Well, who are you friends with? Well, were you in this show? Did you ever do stuff at this theater? What bowling league are you? And it's like we were like scratching. Where are we? 30 minutes, we couldn't figure out a single connection. We were like, huh, no idea. So we said goodnight and walked out to the parking lot to get in our cars and ended up putting our keys into each other's prospective identical Chevy S10 trucks. And I'm like, my key's not working. And he's over there going, my key's not working. And I'm like, are you kidding me? It was just... And over the course of the years, we would have these accidental encounters with psychics who would all say, oh, you two. Man, you two. Every lifetime. How do you do it? How do you do it? How do you find each other in every lifetime? And hearing this over and over and over again from different people, it was amazing. And now that he is gone from this experience, I'm actually really looking forward to seeing how we show up in the next one. Like, how are we going to find each other again? And will we know that time? Will we actually go, we did it? So these have all been really kind of like uplifting, connection. It's all good, yay. What about the flip side? Because there's always a flip side. As Pee Wee Herman says, there's always a big but. But what about the folks who feel isolated and alone and not connected with anyone? What does friends along the way mean to somebody who feels like they're not having that experience? And here's my promise. I'm not going to give any cute or clever answers to that question, because it's a serious issue. In a planet of over 7 billion people, the idea that anyone feels alone is heartbreaking to me. And so I'm going to share a story instead. When I was in 4th grade, I had a lot of friends. I had neighborhood friends, and I had school friends. I even had boys who were friends. And I would go to sleepovers, and I would give and get Valentine's cards, and, life was fairly normal. And then something changed. Somehow during the summer between 4th and 5th grade, the most popular girl in school, who happened to be my friend, suddenly decided that I was not acceptable. And this was more than just, I'm not friends with you anymore. We're talking 5th grade. This was teasing, bullying, shunning, shaming, brutal. It was horrible. And on top of this, my teacher in 5th grade was this absolutely horrible human being. And you can go ahead and ask my mom. She'll verify this. This woman was horrible. I credit her, God bless her soul, she's the one who got me to hate math, to put that wall up to never learn math again. She was mean and she was very divisive, and her teaching style thrived on humiliation. So here I'm dealing with this in my friendship world, and I've got a teacher who's doing it in the classroom. It was basically the school year from hell. And I had to walk to school, so that was also torturous. Trying to get out of school before other people and get into school before other people, and it was bad. And then this amazing thing happened. There was a guy who had always been around, my friend Jonathan. He was born the day before me, and he lived in the house behind me. And he was just always, it's like, yeah, I'm Jonathan, But he started walking me to and from school. And he just started being my guardian. Just one other person next to me made it safer. And I mean, this guy, it's like, somebody who'd always been there. And I just kind of, yeah, Jonathan, whatever. And now suddenly here he was, waiting for me at the door. You ready to walk? Ready to walk home? And just keeping an eye on me. And he was enough. He was enough. I had one friend, and it was enough. And so what I'm saying is that having friends along the way is not about quantity. It's about quality. I saw this and it really moved me. At times our own light goes out and is rekindled by a spark from another person. Each one of us has cause to think deep gratitude of those who have lighted the flame within us. Someone shows up for us. Sometimes it's a complete stranger. There have been times when I've just felt really alone. Just alone. And then, boom, somebody behind me at the post office or the checker at cars or a smiling person at the dog park will just make an instant connection, and I realize, oh, I'm not alone. Even if it's just for that moment, I'm not alone. Sometimes a friend along the way can be someone we pass along the way. So it doesn't have to be an epic 30-year friendship. Those are great. It doesn't have to be that. We can relieve the pressure of, I need more friends. I need better friends. We can have one friend. Or we can have a shared moment with a complete stranger that can lift us up and out of our stuff. And the same goes for us. We can be a friend. Who knows what difference we can make in someone's life when we smile at them, or hold the door open, or notice at the grocery store that I have a cart and they only have 2 items. It's like, go, man, just go. I'm not going to make you stand behind me. Have a good day. Call the checker by name. Hold the door. Do these things. It can make such a difference. There have been so many stories of people who've had a somewhat depressing plan for their day that has shifted because someone smiled or someone noticed them. And their decision for that day changed their life and kept their life going. So it works both ways. We get friends along the way, and we are friends along the way. And it can happen anytime. And so I'm going to close with this thought from William Butler Yeats that says, there are no strangers here, only friends you haven't met. So let's do a little praying. Taking in a deep breath, a breath of gratitude, and letting it go, and just taking this moment of gratitude for friends we've known along the way. From our childhood, from times in our adulthood. Friends of friends. Friends of my mom's that I love. Friends of other people. Friends that have connected out in this web. Just giving thanks for those who've shown up in our lives, whether they've stayed or gone, it doesn't matter. They've shown up and they've imprinted on our lives moments of love, moments of challenge, moments of growth, moments of tears and laughter. And these friends that we've had in our lives give us the lasting gift of knowing that we are worthy of being seen. We are worthy of being loved. We are worthy of being known. And so even when we hit these moments where, oh, I'm so alone, or I feel so isolated, or I just can't connect, there have been moments in our lives when we've connected. If we're in one that's not happening right now, that's just this one right now. It doesn't mean we won't have another. It means not giving up. It means holding on for that next moment, that next connection, that next opportunity to let a car in front of us in traffic and see that thank you wave and know that that thank you wave is a friend that we have now met just through that moment. And of course, remembering our four-legged friends, our furry friends, who bless our lives with so much love, who remind us that we're important, even when we may feel we're not. And so I hold in prayer right now, I hold in my heart and in the high watch anyone who is feeling that they have not made that connection. Anyone who's feeling a moment of, I'm isolated. I'm holding in the high watch the knowledge, the wisdom, and the truth that this is not the real, capital RT truth. Our true nature is one of connection, of tribe, of friends. Holding in love anyone who's not sure, and knowing that the universe is going to prove it right. The universe is going to show us what true friendship looks like in any moment. So I hold open the possibility of open hearts and connection and friends along the way. And I give thanks. I give thanks for knowing that it's true. Amen. Ashe. Ashe.